The Brainiac Corporation. Just another day. From all over the country, a crack team of the finest minds arrive at their base. Morning. Their mission, to push back the boundaries of scientific knowledge. So come on in, step inside with us, but prepare yourself for a bumpy ride as we embark on the worst excesses that are Brainiac Science Abuse.
Welcome to Brainiac, the science show that doesn't wipe its feet before stepping on your granny's new carpet.
The big science tonight. It's the last show in the series, and we're going out with a bang. Bunging the whole lot into a couple of microwaves, stand well back. We find out how to win at the docks and the Funfair arcade. What chemicals not to put in your spin dryer. And we wave goodbye to this Brainiac. Where not to hide when the bomb goes up. But first... can you do your job whilst being electrocuted? It's a question we've been asking every episode this series, and the evidence so far has been pretty one-sided. Whether it's working in a supermarket, being a living statue, teaching a lesson, painting a portrait, making a cake, being a drum majorette,
Oh my God!
or mixing cocktails. It would appear that being zapped actually seems to make work more difficult. Perhaps, though, a darts player can buck the trend. Paul Ratton is a champion arrows man who plays for the Cherry Tree pub in Maidstone. When it comes to flinging the tungsten, he's the first name on the team sheet for any league match. Deadly accurate he may be under normal conditions, how good will he be when we fit him with some low-amp, 9-volt electrical equipment? Immediately, there seems to be a problem. It's pretty much mandatory in this game to release the darts from your hand if you want to score big. This Paul seems to have forgotten. And when they do get going, accuracy then seems to be an issue. As does marking up the board. His opponent seems to manage okay, but when Paul steps up, the arrows continue to go down. He does, however, still get good grouping, albeit on the floor. And it really doesn't improve. When he does finally get some rhythm, he always seems to be let down by that final spark-induced dart. Not very accurate when the shocks are coming then. Playing darts is yet one more thing rendered tricky by electricity. So, darts then. A lot harder whilst being electrocuted.
Here's one for you. If you spend the day doing nothing, how do you know when you've finished?
Brainiacs, we're not stuck in some dusty laboratory, absolutely love to spend time at the Funfair. Whizzing round on rides, getting scared on the ghost train. It's what Brainiacs love to do. Alongside looking for free loot, of course. And what better victim to relieve of his cash than the shyster who runs the throwing arcade? So, let us show you how. Throwing games come in many different forms. Chucking hoops, lobbing balls, or knocking over targets. These games all have one common thread. They're all carefully designed to part you, the fool, from your cash. But there are ways to tip the odds back in your favour, and these are they. Firstly, pick the right game. For instance, avoid this kind of thing. A game so transparently weighted in favour of the operator that only a mug would play it. And we did, a lot, and lost a considerable amount of money before concluding that there's damn all way of winning. So, anything with a very bouncy ball then, avoid. And the same goes for this kind of thing. The apparently fluffy but heavily weighted knockover target. No pushover this one, however hard you throw. Same motif then. Also avoid. Tip number 2. If you find you're losing, try aiming high. Climb up, get a steeper angle of attack, and you can increase the chances of hitting more of the target on offer. The targets have been set for a low-angled approach, so this might just pay off. If you can stay on board. If not, make sure you've packed a ladder. Number 3, aim for the corner. This is one for the tin can chug. The aim of the game is to knock over all the cans with just 3 balls. The temptation is to have a go at this can, the bottom middle. But don't. Tempting though it is, it will invariably result in you being left with this setup, which means you'll have to hit 2 separated targets with your next 2 balls. The trick instead is to aim for the corner, this can here. Hit this one and you're left with a much bigger target for your next 2 balls. Much easier. Tip number 4. Watch the man when he resets the target. He decides not to set it like he did before. After putting the cans on top of each other, he squashes them together. By doing this, he makes it less likely next time for the display to break apart. Fewer gaps mean the cans bounce around less, so there's less chance of clearing them all. So remember, see this setup and avoid. And if all else fails, here's the best tip of all. Take an expert. Forget the physics, bring on a bowler, a fast bowler, courtesy of Somerset Cricket Club. This guy can throw the ball at 90 miles an hour, and he can hit a 2-inch wide cricket stump from 30 metres. He shouldn't therefore have a problem hitting 6 tin cans from 3 metres. So there they are then, the 5 top tips to win at funfair throwing games. Turn up, cash in, and take them for all they've got, courtesy of Brainiac. Stop.
The following experiment is dangerous. Do not try this at home. No, really, don't.
We've put a lot of things in microwaves over the years, so we wondered what it would be like if we put all our favourite stuff in together. Some things just fizz a bit, others glow in interesting ways, and some just go up with a bang. Lots of stuff means it'll take longer for the contents to get hot. Plenty of time then for some interesting reaction. Steel wool fizzles immediately the microwaves start flying. Then Christmas lights join in the party with a glow. The heat builds in both ovens as the CD starts to melt, as smoke fills the inside and the soap decomposes. In the second oven, the balloon of petrol then ignites, setting off the tin of beans and the stick of dynamite. The first oven takes a little longer to reach temperature, but a bursting light bulb is enough to set off the bag of nitrocellulose, taking the beer and the champagne with it.
We do these experiments so you don't have to. Do not try this at home.
Hi, I'm Wendy Peters. Hi, I'm Andrea McLean.
Hello, I'm David Seaman.
This series, we've asked a lot of celebrities to suck up helium for us.
Oh, I'm Jenny Bond.
It makes their voice go all squeaky.
I'm Razor
Fun for us, and for them, it seems.
My name's Paul O'Grady.
However, it hasn't always gone exactly as planned.
Barker, and you're watching Brainiac.
Take Louis Walsh.
Hi.
First problem, the helium actually going in.
Hi.
Nope.
Hi.
Nope.
Hi.
And nope.
Hi.
And nope again.
It's not working.
Only one solution.
Then pretty mouth, quick.
This has got to do it.
Hi.
Oh, God.
We're going to crack this. Your mission is to suck that whole balloon. Swallow it.
Hi, this is Louis Walsh, and you're watching Brainiac.
I think we'll settle for that. Will it fizz or will it bang? The regular chemistry conundrum as posed by Dr. John P. Kilcoyne, Principal Lecturer of the University of Sunderland. So, what chemicals has Dr. Kilcoyne got in his shed today?
Potassium chlorate glucose, sulfuric acid. Will it fizz or will it bang?
We'll be giving you the answer shortly. But first, Dr. John Kilcoyne of the University of Sunderland posed the question: potassium chlorate glucose and sulfuric acid. Will it fizz or will it bang? The answer? It fizzes. Add these two chemicals together and the glucose is rapidly oxidized by the chlorate to water and CO2, producing a lot of heat and a very nice fizz.
What a great fizz!
Nice one, Doc!
Instruction manuals. They're always telling you lots of things not to do. But what about the things they don't tell you not to do?
Buy a new bit of kit for your house and it's likely to come with an instruction manual. Cookers, dishwashers, toasters, the accompanying booklets usually give good warning of the dangers that exist if you misuse these machines. But they don't warn you about everything. A spin dryer extracts moisture from clothing by centrifugal force, the water being drawn from the clothes as the drum rotates at speed. The inside of these machines, then, not the place to put anything of a volatile nature. Nitroglycerin is a highly unstable chemical, liable spontaneously to combust if subjected to even the slightest agitation. Not, then, the kind of substance to place within the bowels of a spin dryer on a fast cycle. No warning in the booklet, but we can show you why. Retreat to a safe distance, power on, a couple of slower spins, and then the fast cycle kicks in, with inevitable consequences. The nitroglycerin explodes, taking the spin dryer with it. Destruction is more or less total. A warning then, do not put volatile explosives in the drum of your spin dryer, which means do not try this at home.
Which is Britain's best dunking biscuit? We're emptying the Brainiac tea trolley to get a definitive answer to this one. It's a question that's taxed the finest minds, and now it's taxing ours. We have 6 Brainiacs to take up the challenge, all of them hand-picked, and all of them verified dunkers. Each of them starts with a carefully measured quantity of tea, exactly the same amount in each mug. They'll each be trying to get the most tea out of their mug using only their chosen biscuit. We've scoured the shelves for what we think will be the top contenders in this challenge. No sponges or cake-based snacks allowed. This is strictly a biscuit thing. Rich tea, custard creams, ginger nuts, bourbons, digestives, and Garibaldi. Each Brainiac will have to try and empty their mug using only the absorbency of the biscuit. Poised and ready to dunk. Dunk.
Biscuit absorbency is, of course, the key factor here. Not a strong feature of the Garibaldi, but dunking technique will also play a part. Get too much liquid on the wrong kind of biscuit and disintegration is inevitable. Ginger nuts, tougher all round, but the digestive has its own inherent problem. The bourbon is a dark horse here. The chocolate cream doesn't help the tea absorption, but the biscuit sandwich is a good even soaker. Ditto the custard creams. After 10 minutes, 2 biscuits have built up a definite lead, the ginger nuts and the rich tea. It's dunk for dunk now as they dab away at the last few drops. But when the whistle goes, there's only one winner.
Right, time's up. Let's see who has the least amount of tea in their mugs and who's eaten the least amount of biscuits. Yes, I believe we do have a winner. It's official. Britain's best dunking biscuit is the rich tea.
Rich tea, then. The one to dunk.
Dear John, when I eat asparagus, it makes my wee smell funny. Are there any other foods which will do strange things to my wee? Brian Russell from Dundee. Brian, that's a cracking question, and I'll do my very best to find out. In a minute. Now, let's start with asparagus. This is a funny old veg. It can make some people's wee smell, like Brian, and for others, it has no aromatic effect whatsoever. Take these two Brainiacs, for example. They've just finished a hearty meal of asparagus soup, followed by asparagus pie, with a side order of, you've guessed it, asparagus. Now then, gentlemen, it's obvious what I need from you. Let's go. Now, this one, that smells completely normal. And this one, oh, that really stinks. You see, it appears to be a genetically inherited trait. Only about 50% of Brits make smelly asparagus wee, whereas in America, that figure rises to a whopping 90%. It also appears to be a dominant trait, so the chances are that if asparagus only makes one of your parents' wee smell and not the other, you, your brothers, and your sisters will all inherit the dodgy gene. But it's even more complicated than that. Watch this. Brainiac! Now to me, this stinks to high heaven, but to you? You can't smell that, can you? It's another genetic pie in the face. Not everybody can smell the smelly wee. Very confusing. But to get back to the question in hand, is there anything else that can make your wee smell? Well, the short answer is yes. We've had our Brainiacs chomping on a variety of foodstuffs to check the outcome. Now, they've been doing this without me, so I've no idea what each of them has been eating. Right, shall we get busy? First up, let's have a sniff of this. Oh, it's got an interesting nose. Almost sweet smelling. OK then, I'll guess at honey. What have we got? Ah, honey puffed wheat. Well, yes, that does explain it. Right. Next up. Oh, that's really strong. Yeah, no doubt there, that's mint or something like that, yeah? Excellent, great result. Now then, well, you have been hard at work, haven't you? There's something there, I just can't... No, it's a bit strange, that one. What have you got? Well, that explains it, because coffee is a diuretic, which means that you wee more. So that would explain the increased volume. Another fascinating fact about wee, some foods won't make it smell, but they will make it change colour. Concentrated vitamin C tablets will turn it an incredible shade of fluorescent yellow. And yesterday, a Brainiac ate an entire jar of crinkled cut pickled beetroot, and his turned red. But I've tried it, and my wee stayed yellow when I ate beetroot. I think that's because my stomach is more acidic than the Brainiac's was, and the acid was able to destroy the red colour. So, I'm doing an experiment. Drinking this alkaline drink whilst eating beetroot should counteract the acidity of my stomach, and if I'm right, make my wee red. I am never eating beetroot again. And now, quite literally, the acid test. Brilliant, it worked! So, we've discovered that we can make it smell different, we can make it look different, we can even affect the volume that you produce. But as for affecting the taste, well, that's a whole different experiment.
Every week we receive your emails asking us to test the formidable powers of Thermite.
We've seen it make short work of a large hunk of ice, incinerate and explode a reinforced propane gas cylinder, win a fight to the death with liquid nitrogen, make mincemeat of a heavy metal safe full of our money, liquefy the engine block of a car, and then chew up the petrol tank and spit it out.
But now, thanks to this email from 59-year-old James Griffiths of Rochester, we think we may finally have found something it can't burn through. Take it away.
Dear Brainiac, why don't you try Thermite out on titanium? Titanium is the hardest metal in the world. The army use it to make the armour on tanks, so it's got to be really tough.
The ultimate showdown. Thermite versus titanium. Bring it on.
This is thermite. It's a powdered mixture of iron oxide and aluminium, which, when ignited, burns at 2,500 degrees Celsius, which is very, very hot. This is titanium. It's green because it's come straight from the armour plating of a tank. And like all titanium, it has an oxide outer layer, which is resistant to high temperatures, reflects infrared rays, and doesn't corrode. Basically, it's dead hard. But then, so is thermite. So, it's Metal Muncher against Mighty Metal. Just light the touch paper, and, well, this is going to be interesting. The irreversible thermite reaction begins. Thermite pours off the armour plating, but is it going through or just around? It's impossible to tell. As the mixture cools, the lumps of solidifying iron are a dead giveaway that the impossible has happened. Thermite has lost. The molten thermite mixture pours onto the titanium at 2,500 degrees. The surface lights up white hot as battle rages. But the up-to-now all-conquering thermite has been stopped in its tracks. So there you go, James. Thermite, the destroyer of all things, has finally failed. Oh well, all hail titanium, officially the hardest metal in the world.
Hello, my name is Daniel James, and I'm going to eat fish for a month to see if it makes me clever.
Does eating fish improve your brain power? By the end of the month, Daniel James will smell worse than Grimsby, but will he be brainier than he was when he started? First, we need to find out how clever he is now. So we've set him a standard IQ test.
What is pompano? Fish, grapefruit, grapes, or...
The average score is 100. If you get over 140, you're a genius.
Pass.
But there's no danger of that with this volunteer.
Pass. 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 At the end of that, you've scored 95 points.
Very ordinary. We'll be testing him again in 1 month's time, but before that, he's got a lot of fish suppers and breakfasts to get through. We don't want him to get bored, so we've stocked him up with a really varied diet. Cod, mackerel, scampi, hake, herring, sardines, fish fingers, crab sticks. We'll also be keeping an eye on his house to make sure he doesn't cheat, and he'll be keeping a video diary so we can all enjoy the fun with him.
Okay, I'm just about to go to bed. It's day one of my fishing month. I'm really looking forward to getting started. There's lots of really nice fish out there. It'd be cool to see what happens if I just eat fish. So, well, I'm gonna go to bed now and have some fish for breakfast, I guess.
We'll catch up with him later in the show.
I can do science, me.
Science you want done. You write to us and we'll give you the tools for the job. This week we're in Blagdon, grabbing motorsports fan Diane Dawson and her daughter Ellie. If you're lucky enough to be selected, then you too could be picked up in style by the Brainiac team and chauffeur-driven to our top-secret, state-of-the-art research laboratory. Get your thinking caps on and your ideas into us. Who knows, we might just pick you. It's I Can Do Science, Me, with Charlotte Hudson.
Blimey, will you look at this envelope? It's in Brainiac yellow, the swats. Right, another long one. Okay, yada, yada, yada. Get to the point. Da, da, da. Oh, what is the longest length a string phone can work, and can 4 people use them at once? Well, let's find out. In the days before the mobile phone, a couple of old tins on a length of cord was really the only effective way for 2 kids to have a good chat at distance, short of yelling at each other. In reality, the whole business usually involved giving yourself a serious injury on the sharp edges of the tin and getting cold beans in the ear because you hadn't wiped the can out properly. But hey, that's what childhood is all about. God knows why a grown-up wants to do this, though. Can't be much to do in Blagdon.
Testing, testing, can you hear me?
So, bits and pieces assembled, we have ourselves a communication system. A primitive one, but how far apart will it work?
8 meters.
These things work through the sound vibrations of the voice running along the string into the cans, which then acts like a speaker.
Testing, testing, can you hear me?
9 meters.
String can carry sound better than air because it's made out of solid matter. That's why you hear better through your string can phone than through normal speech.
Testing, testing, can you hear me?
14 metres.
But there comes a point when the sound vibrations are dissipated by the distance and the phone no longer works.
So, the longest string phone comes in at around 14 metres. But now on to the second question. Can 4 people use a string phone at once? Well, come on then, let's find out. So how could this possibly work? Well, if the sound vibrations travel along the string, there's no reason, surely, why they can't go in 4 different directions at once. Standing on the corners of a square, can they all hear each other?
Testing, testing, can you hear me?
And yes, they can. In a straight line or in a stringy conference call, these could put mobile phone technology out of business. From now on, all kids around the country will no longer have to pay as they go. Of course, putting 2 mindless gimps into the system and this promising technology is reduced to a method of transmitting fart noises.
Their names are Diane and Ellie Dawson. They had 2 questions. 1, the longest string phone is 14 metres, and 2, 4 people can use a string phone at once.
We can do science, us.
Dr. Bunhead on the road, where science's biggest loser sets off in his trusty old van, peddling chemistry to the masses.
Oi, mister, can I have an ice cream?
What?
Can I have an ice cream, mister?
What does that say up there?
Dr. Bunhead's ices.
Oh, yeah. Hang on a minute. See what I can do. Cream. That should do you. Bit of sugar. A bit more. You got a sweet tooth. And a bit of vanilla. That'll do. There we are. Let's just whisk that up. Right, now there's cream. Now I just need something to make it a bit icy. Some liquid nitrogen will do. Let's pour that in there. Oh yeah, you might want to step back just a little bit. Let's whisk that in. Yeah, that's about done. Let's get your cone for that. Some stick. Lovely.
Can I have some sauce, please?
No, you can't have sauce. You have that. There you are. All right. Watch your teeth.
Oh, that's minging.
No, it's not.
It is.
What do you expect? Go on, clear off. Get out. Go on, the lot of you. Clear off. Get back to your lessons. You're in detention. The lot of you, go on. Asking me for something and then give me lip. What do you think this is, an ice cream van? Stupid.
When it comes to betting, they say the only winners are the bookies, but that's not strictly true. Some people make a lot of money at the races. And for everyone else, well, there's always the hope that one day you'll find the perfect system. A foolproof formula which, if you follow to the letter, is the key not only to a few quid, but to a fortune. Well, look no further, race fans, because Brainiac is at the dogs. And if there is a system, then by Jove, we're going to find it. Look at him, he's sweating already.
Brainiacs like dogs. Minimally intelligent, slavishly obedient, and with a tendency to sniff each other's bottoms, they think of dogs, well, like members of their own family. Brainiacs are at work today, though, and after the answer to just one question. When you're betting, are you better off backing a hunch or going with a system? Hunch Boy is going to pick his winner according to gut feelings, and the others are all going with a system, picking the favourite, backing the underdog, using betting software, or just gambling on the dog with the longest legs. Which one, then, will make the most cash? They all start with 30 quid, all put their money on their chosen dogs. So, what has Hunch gone for in race 1?
Hunch has gone for Gorton Moyer, I think you pronounce that, because apparently it went for a poo before, not the Brainiac, the dog, before the race, and he reckons that might make it lighter. It's a hunch.
OK, fair enough. Well, Hunch's dog, the orange one, starts well, as a dog unweighed down by poo should. But as the race progresses, he drifts down the field to come in 4th. And the winner?
It's the favourite. So when it came to systems, so far the winners are the computer and going for the favourite. Everybody else was rubbish.
And ticket 52 the same, 22.5.
On to race 2 then. What are the choices for this one?
The favourite and the choice of the computer is Brookline Lucy. They've gone for that, both of them. But Hunch has also gone for Brookline Lucy because apparently it was his nickname at school.
So, Brookline Lucy, the one to watch then, in orange. And it's a close race, a really close race. Neck and neck to the finish, and they can't be separated by the naked eye or a photo. A dead heat in race 2.
Which means that Hunch and computer and favourite have got money to collect. Not as much as they would have won had it won outright, but you've got money to collect. So collect it. OK, final race. Hunch has gone for dog number 6, Slaney Side Ellie, because he says it's got stripes on it and he's got stripy pants on today.
So, is it better to trust a hunch? Or, if not, which is the best method to make oodles of cash at the dog track? 3 races to decide it. The dogs cant around for the last time, and the final cash is collected. So, what's the overall result?
And so the results of our in-depth Brainiac study into betting go like this. They all started with £30, remember. Hunch, now down to £11.25. Not good. Not as bad as legs. Remember betting on the dog with the longest legs? Nothing. Blew the lot. Computer shows a small profit, £33.75 up to, so that's £3.75, not bad. Certainly better than underdog. Nothing. Blew the lot. Obviously, the underdog really is the loser. The winner here, the system that worked for us, was favourite with this huge wodge of cash, £83.75. In Brainiac terms, that is an almost unimaginable fortune. So, our advice is, the best system might not be the most exciting, bet on the favourite.
Granny Brainiac, homespun science from the nation's favourite old dear.
Oh no, Granny! Spilled red wine on my shirt.
Oh, don't worry, dear. I'll fix it.
Spilling red wine on your favourite T-shirt can be a bit of a nightmare, but Granny always has a solution. Just dab on a little white wine. That'll neutralise it. However, Granny needs a lot more. But don't worry, we can lend a helping hand.
Here you go, Granny.
A bucketful should soon fix the problem. Yes, that should do it.
Cheers, Gran. Good as new.
Oh, yes, Granny knows best.
She certainly does. Homespun science from the nation's favourite old dear.
Will it break or will it bounce? The big question answered by Professor Mayang Lee and a 10-foot drop. Today's object, a hi-fi. So, will it break or will it bounce? We'll tell you in a few moments. Earlier, we asked, will a hi-fi break or will it bounce? The answer, a hi-fi breaks. But never mind, Prof. You can always make sweet music with us.
Here's one for you. If you swallow a burp, does it turn into a fart?
This is Daniel James. He's on a month-long diet eating nothing but fish to see if it makes him brainier.
Pass, pass, pass.
A recent experiment in Durham involved giving fish oil to primary school children. The results were dramatic. After only 3 months, one child's reading age improved by 4 years, and most showed an increase of 2 years. Will it work, though, for our guinea pig?
Okay, it's week 2 now. I've got to be honest, I'm starting to get a little bit bored. I still really like fish, it's just super nice to have a little bit of change, but I don't know, I haven't felt any difference yet, but we've still got some time to go, so we'll see.
We wanted to track the improvement in his brain power over the month, so we left him a 100-piece jigsaw to do. If the fishy diet does work, he should be able to knock this on the head, no problem. Oh, except we also took out a couple of pieces before we gave it to him, just to make it a bit more difficult.
Okay, no. So I can do the logo first and the outline, then the yellow pieces will be easier.
We've also been keeping him well topped up with lots of fishy pills. We told him to take them every single day until the box is finished. And we came along every day to make sure he did. And every now and then, a few other deliveries. Chinese food, sweet and sour prawn, of course. And a traditional British takeaway, fish and chips, without the chips.
Do for me. Go on, do one.
After the month is up, it's time to check on our guinea pig. Well, he didn't get very far with the jigsaw, but how will he do at the IQ test now?
KNPQ.
Last month, he scored 95. So will he do better after eating all that fish?
MRKT.
Supermarket.
Okay, at the end of that, you scored 112.
And yes, he does. A massive improvement of 17 points. So there you go. Eating fish really does improve your brain power. Pity about the side effects, though.
God, he stinks.
Hi, Sharon. I like this one. Hi, my name is Sharon. I can never watch them with this. Brilliant. I've never done this. Obviously, I've never done this before. Oh, I want some more.
Yes, the singing superstar is back, but this time it's for her final performance as the mistress of automotive destruction. News has filtered through to the gathering crowds that this is to be Diana's swan song, but their great sadness is tempered by the comforting knowledge that she plans to go out with a bit of a bang. Namely, a bang involving this car. As ever, Diana is careful to check all the bits and pieces are in place to activate the explosion. She concentrates as hard on this as she did in her physics lesson at Motown High School. It's only when she's sure she's happy to give this experiment the nod. Lighting her trusty Bunsen for one last time, the process is now underway. She cuts a bag of sand to allow the grains to trickle into a waiting bucket. When that bucket is full, it will tip the scales, introducing the flame to the cord. The bucket fills, the Bunsen lifts, and the cord starts to burn. And when it snaps, the anvil lands on the waiting detonator. The car pops, and off goes Diana into her favourite song. What a way to say goodbye, the mistress of Motown and the very best in exploding motors. She's banged up all of our old bangers, so now it's back to the stage career. Bye-bye, Di. Things John Tickle's body can do.
Come in. Stand over there for me. Now, Miss Tickle, what can we do for you today?
Nurse, I'm bored. Can you show me something interesting that I can do with my body?
Okay, let's try this. Take your hands out and push them hard against my hands for 30 seconds.
If you do this, your muscles tighten, so that when you stop and relax, it will feel like there is an invisible ball between your hands.
Now stop. Can you feel the invisible ball?
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Thanks, nurse. That'll keep me amused for hours.
Not at all. Bye-bye.
Just one more thing John Tickle's body can do. Pub Science, the Brainiac alternative to 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps.
I bet you that fiver I can separate this pepper from that pile of salt without touching it.
I bet you can't.
I bet you can, and to give you a sporting chance, I'll give you a tenner if you can do it yourself. Can't, can you? It's too hard. All right, here we go. All you need is a plastic spoon and a bit of static charge. Static on the plastic, and then the pepper will be attracted more than the salt. The salt's not attracted at all. And ta-da!
No, I don't believe it.
Pepper, no salt. No, so it's brilliant, isn't it? No. That's my fiver. Brilliant. Thank you very much. No, it's not. Ow, 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 that hurts.
Don't come back.
Ow, ow, no. Ow, ow, ow.
Hello and a big welcome to the final round of Pro Celebrity Brainiac Golf. It's been a gruelling 7-week competition matching top pro Jamie Spence against rubbish weekend hacker Brainiac. So far the contest has been pretty one-sided, with Jamie going out with a bang every time. The reason? Because every week we've filled a caravan with a different chemical, and when the ball has gone in the hole, it sets off a huge explosion and a different colour flame, depending on what the chemical is. This week we've opted for strontium dichloride, SrCl2. Right, Jimmy has been left with a bit of a tricky one here, it seems, but he's looking fairly confident. So confident that he's going to try and make the putt with his eyes covered. Well, this should be interesting. Will he make it? Confident stroke, and yes, he does. Well done, that man. The Brainiac's been done once again. He doesn't look too happy, but this is not the time to think of what might have been. Time for everyone to make tracks rather rapidly, to find a place to get cover for when that caravan goes up. More or less anywhere will do, except for maybe there. Oh no. Watch out! Oh dear, too late. Strontium burns with a rather elegant red flame, and on this occasion with a fair amount of smoke, as the Brainiac inside makes like a piece of burnt toast. I think we can safely say that that marks the end of this particular game for the foreseeable future. Time to get another bag, caddy boy. The game's up for you, and for all of us. The end to a fine series of Brainiac Golf.
Brainiac. Well, so long then. It's been fun. Plenty of caravan blistering, appliance exploding, microwave shattering. Fun. That's the thing about science. There are just so many different ways of having a damn good laugh under the banner of physics, chemistry and biology. Whether it's dropping things, firing stuff, making chemicals fizz and bang, hurtling around at great speed, smashing things up, inflicting pain and misery in a mindless kind of way.
Oh, he's going! He's going!
Or simply causing as much carnage as possible. You can never have too much science, because when it's good, science can be very, very good.